Well, that was a great ride over. Although it was an awful lot colder than I expected it to be. It's down to 2 degrees in a lot of places. So I was getting quite chilly feet. But luckily I had my heated vest and stuff, so and my heated grips. So I was warming up. The roads are mostly empty, so it was a lovely ride. Well, anyway, here we are on our way up. A long day today. Expecting it to be 15 to 20 kilometres. So I need to pace myself. But also, the weather's supposed to turn towards the end of the day, so I don't want to pace myself too much. Making good progress. I'm glad it hasn't rained for a few weeks, because you just know this ground will be really, really boggy if you'd had a bit of a wet spell. But it's pretty dry at the moment, which is great. So that over there is Cader in the distance, and that one on the end there, is one I went up not so long ago. I can't remember the name. Gow Craig, is it? Anyway, our first objective, I turn you around, is to get up onto this ridge. Once you're up onto that ridge, you pretty much stay on it for most of the day, so you should have some great views. Hello there. So we've reached the ridge line now. Wasn't too bad, quite nice. Haven't met a soul, been lovely. So now we traipse along the ridge for a mile or something up to our first top of the day, which is Waun Oer. Well, that's our first top over there, Waun Oer. Looks a really, really long way away. Oh my goodness. I'm sure it'll get closer as I walk towards it. Well, the good news is, as I walk towards it, it did get closer, which is fantastic. But oh my goodness, what a beautiful day today. Let me just turn you around and show you the route up. So we've got to follow the fence. I like following fences. So you can see the path takes the fence line right the way to the ridge line over there. Here we go, top of Waun Oer. Right, I've had myself a little bite to eat, a whisper in fact, which was very nice, and a little cup of tea. My next stop is Cribin Fawr. Let me show you where that is. It's actually not too far away. So Cribin Fawr is over there. Again, not too far. A little bit of a descent to do, and reascent, but not too bad. It's a little bit lower than this one. But the big one is Maesglase, which is over there, and it is miles away. It's as far as we've come already. So let's go to Cribin Fawr, have another little break, and then see if we've got the energy to go to Maesglase. It's actually it's only 10:15, so there's loads of day left. Weather still looks lovely. So let's crack on. Right then, this is the top of Cribin Fawr. It's one of these strange summits that have nothing on the top to symbolise the highest point. Everywhere you look on this little plateau at the top here, there seems to be somewhere just slightly higher. I think it's probably over by that post, but yeah, here we are. God, beautiful over there. Quite a big steep descent and then back up again. But Maesglase is our next destination, and that's all the way over there. So I think it's time for another little break. Some want to drink and something to eat. Have a little rest before we start on the trip over to Maesglase, because it's quite a long way away. Well, I left the top of Cribin Fawr about 10 minutes, half an hour ago, and yeah, it's looking okay. Maesglase is now looking within reach. Doesn't look quite so far away as it did. So we've got to drop down that dip, follow the fence up to the ridge line, and then we follow the ridge line all the way along. And you can see it's up and down a bit. There is a bit of a climb at the end, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad, so it's very hard to gauge, but it only looks, I always seem to say the same thing, it always looks about half an hour away. Maybe that's a bit optimistic, maybe 40 minutes.
Little did I realise at this point that I just walked past the true summit of Maesglase, Rhiw-erch, which was just the other side of the fence.
Hello there. So this is the top of Maesglase, our final summit of the day. Now it's time to turn round and go back again. I've stopped and sat and had some lunch and just took in the views. It's been gorgeous. A bit breezy up here, but not too bad. But I shall be making my way back the way I came shortly, so I shall see you a bit later. Hello. Making reasonable progress, leaving Maesglase behind, and now I've got to head back to Cribin Fawr, which is all the way along that ridge and out over there. One step at a time. Once I get to Cribin Fawr, then only 1 hour left, and then I'm heading back to the bike. So it's all going well. God, it's a beautiful place. Met a couple of people now, so it's almost what you describe as busy. 3, I think, in total. Oh dear. So I've left Maesglase behind. This is over there. And are now reascending Cribin Fawr. So it's the last top done again. So it should be all mostly downhill from here, which is great. So what time it is? It is 3 o'clock, so it's I think I'm probably roughly on schedule. Probably take about an hour to get back to the bike from here. Should be back to the bike 4ish, it should be great. Well, great in many ways, because pretty much since I left the bike, I'm not sure how the most polite way to phrase this is, but let's just say there's been a queue of soldiers lined up at the back door, and they've been initially knocking gently, just saying, can you let me out please, just when it's convenient. And then during the course of the walk, which has been going for 7 or 8 hours now or something, they've been knocking ever louder and louder, and they're almost demanding to be let out now. And I'm quite stubborn about these things. I'm saying no, I'm not prepared to let you out in this beautiful place. Partly because I've never done it before, and I've got no desire to start today, and secondly because I normally carry a little emergency kit, a little shovel and toilet paper and stuff, and I forgot to bring it, so it would be altogether a complex procedure. So let's just leave it at that. My goal is to get back to the bike. It's in about an hour, and then maybe call in at Starbucks on the way past. Partly for a lovely, nice cup of coffee, and partly for another reason I won't go into. So anyway, there we are. It's been a fantastic day. Really enjoyed it. Seeing probably about 3 or 4 people all day. Scenery's been gorgeous. Weather's cooling now. I think on the horizon down there you can start to see the weather front. It does look a bit greyer on the distance, and that's what they were saying, that sort of by 5ish there should be a cloud coming in from the south. So hopefully, looks like I'm going to be on schedule to get back to the bike before that arrives, and then I can hopefully get a nice ride back to the caravan before any rain arrives, which will be an altogether splendid day. So I'm going to shut up and get on down here as quick as I can. Hello there. Oh. Well, this is where we leave the ridge and we do the descent down to the bike. It's been a fantastic day. There's been a bit of a development in the soldiers I was telling you about earlier. The soldiers claimed that they had a hostage called Gary Gas, and they claimed by letting Gary Gas out it would make more room for them, and then they would stop complaining. That's the argument. And anyway, I very carefully released Gary Gas. He'd done nothing wrong after all. And with that, the soldiers stormed the back door. Fortunately for me, my back door is very, very secure, and so they just bounced off it. Made no progress at all. But it was quite an unpleasant thing. And so that whole issue still needs to be dealt with, but hopefully that's something that I can deal with at Starbucks. So then, off the ridge and back down to the bike.